Yes, ma'am.
Perfect. How do you like your hat? Looks good out there, huh?
Yeah, I don't think he's seen it yet. We're going there after.
Oh, okay.
Like at 10:15, I think. I don't know.
Thank you, ma'am. Looks like there's people everywhere.
Oh, man.
You're going to have a hell of a crowd.
I know, it should be good.
Mhm.
Try.
Yeah.
When did you get in?
Oh, we come in Thursday
Okay.
because of my grandson lives out here.
Yeah.
So spent 3
All
days
right.
with
I
him.
saw him at the ocean the
We'll
other day.
get started. Good morning, everyone. We're so excited to roll into another amazing availability here in the Media Center. So this year, of course, as most of you know, NASCAR is honoring the Petty family's 75th anniversary in NASCAR. So we are so thrilled to have 7-time champion and the winningest driver in NASCAR, Richard Petty, with us today, and our general manager, Brian Flynn. And I have a feeling that we're gonna hear a few colorful stories that involve both of them. So Brian, I think you should really just kick this one off.
Well, yeah, I think we wanted to honor the Petty family, the 75th anniversary of their involvement in the sport, and I had the privilege of, for I would say almost a third of those 75 years of working for, beside, and with Richard Petty himself. And to say that that's a treat or a privilege is a gross understatement. So we had some fun. We had some all the things that go along with being together for all those years, and I couldn't be more honored to be sitting here next to him and just being a part of the Petty family.
Yeah, when we first started the Richard Petty driving experience, and this is a guy that ran all that stuff for all those years. So we had a lot of different deals of sort of like trying to run a racetrack. We had to go to each racetrack. He had to set up times with the racetracks and stuff, and we had to get the cars built. We had to move them around. So he's responsible. If you liked it or don't like it, he was responsible for the Richard Petty driving experience. So.
Yeah, the first quick funny story was when I first really met Richard and we were trying to figure out how to get going and get started. He says, I got one thing. You represent me and my name, and that's all you got to worry about. And if you do that right, the rest will take care of itself. So it's one cardinal rule. And then every time we'd go to Richard and we're growing and we're going to do this and we're going to do that, and we're talking about, are you okay with this? Are you okay with that? He's like, just go make it work. And the best thing about Richard was he just let us do our thing. But the first and foremost philosophy was protect the family name, right? That's the most important thing, because if you tarnish that image and reputation, nothing else really matters. So that was pretty inspiring. And everything I've learned, and it took a lot of people. It wasn't just Richard.
Right.
And Richard used to say, we talk about we're in the motorsports business, we're racing, and Richard go, Brian? When he called you by your name, he got more serious because everybody's buddy. For the first 5 years, hey, buddy. So he'd say, Brian, we're in the people business. And that was the biggest, revelation, that it takes people to make the businesses and the partnerships work. And it's pretty incredible and pretty simple when you think about it, but it's often overlooked. So that's probably the most important thing that I took away from my 23 years of being with the Pettys and the Petty family.
We always looked at it, always treat people the same way as you want to be treated. And that's what we try to do with the driving experience, what we try to do in all of our racing careers. My dad started this business in 49. And I came along, 59, I guess, somewhere. My son Kyle came along. He done his little deal. Adam, my grandson, came along, and it was unfortunate we lost Adam. But the big deal in the overall 75 years and stuff, with Adam, he was 19 years old, I think, when we lost him. And up until that time, him and his dad always run motorcycles. I think we got off 27, 28 years, Kyle Petty charity ride across America. But anyhow, we do that, and it's a fundraiser for Victory Junction Gang Camp. And the way the camp came about was Adam and his dad was in Florida, and they went to Boggy Creek, which was a Paul Newman hole-in-the-wall gang camp. And it's for afflicted and seriously ill kids that can't go to a regular camp. So it's a very special deal. And they wind up, the kids come from all over the country, and they don't charge them anything. We make sure they get there, make sure they get back home. And so the big deal, I think, that when I look at the Petty's 75 years of racing, I think it brought the camp into play. And I think the Petty legacy will probably be, and hopefully it'll be more around Victory Junction Camp than anything about racing. Racing just put us in a position to come out and do something like that. And it was always one of Adam's dreams. And when we lost Adam, then the family got together and said, he was really interested in this. We'll pursue that deal. And we was fortunate that at that particular time, we kind of started the foundation, started different things. And at that time, nobody in NASCAR, even the drivers, even NASCAR, had a foundation. And all of a sudden, we start looking around, start talking to sponsors, fans, tracks, all this stuff. And everybody said, this is a good idea. So I think that got everybody into to looking at, hey, we're in the racing business, we're in the limelight, and we can help do foundations and stuff and help different people, different situations. So, I guess that, I always say that, we had a grandson that we loved and all that stuff, but look at all the thousands of kids. And I think we've seen maybe 135,000 kids or something in 20 years. This is our 20th year. And Kyle always says that, every time he sees one of them smile, he just remembers Adam and his smile. So I think that's going to be our legacy from there.
Nice. Well, at this time, I'd really like to open it up for questions. I'm sure we've got a lot. So who have I got for questions for Mr. Petty, the king? Who have I got? Oh, Tom in the back.
Hi, Richard, back here. What was were you ever privy to any of the initial meetings that Bill France had at the hotel in Daytona Beach that got NASCAR going?
No, none of my crowd was there. That was in 47, 48, I think. And so there was just a bunch of racers, a bunch of promoters and stuff got together with France, and he talked them all into doing the NASCAR deal. So really NASCAR started in 1948. The Cup Series just started in 1949. So we do all our figuring from 49 instead of 48.
All right, and who's got the mic back here? Okay, great. And then we'll go here to Vern.
Hey, Richard Doug Turnbull for PRN. If I remember correctly, and maybe I'm wrong, but road course racing wasn't your very favorite amongst the many things you got to do over many years of the sport. How has road course racing changed from when you were last in the car and then past 30 years or so?
Yeah, I always liked running road courses because back in the day when we ran them, they didn't have all the walls and all the safety deals. They just went out through the woods and cut a deal, and how you could get there. So I like to run dirt. So at that time, we spent half the time out in the woods and stuff, and it wasn't very professional. And we'd run a car one Sunday at a half-mile track, and then the next week we'd go to a road course with the same car. So the cars wasn't set up for road racing, but it was a lot of fun. But over a period of time, then everything got to be more professional. The cars got to be special cars for road courses. They took tracks like here at Sonoma and improved them, made them a lot better, a lot safer. So overall, it's just really a different ball game now than it was 20 or 30 years ago.
Awesome. Doug, and then Vern, and then Jenna.
Richard, so much talk the last couple of weeks about Kyle Larson doing the double, and did you ever want to step outside of the NASCAR world and try something else during your career?
No, not really. Okay, I'll explain what the deal was. Petty Enterprises consisted of Lee Petty and Richard Petty. And so at that time, you didn't have outside sponsors or any of that kind of stuff. So from my standpoint, if I went and go to Indy or go any other kind of racing, it took away from the Cup Series. And the Cup Series was where we made a living. So I had to stay home and help try to make a living at home instead of trying to explore anything else. And I guess that at that time, it was a pretty young deal. I was so focused on nothing but Cup racing, I really never thought about any other kind of racing.
All right, Vern.
Richmond, Virginia native here.
Okay.
I'll ask you after we're wrapped up, but I'll ask you now. What is the story behind who coined the nickname The King?
I don't know who. We'll go back to probably mid-'60s, 66, 67, somewhere along there, was pretty dominant. And we had 3 or 4 reporters. Instead of having a room full of reporters, they were just 3 or 4, and they went to all the races. So they'd come, when the race was over, they'd report to a bunch of different newspapers and magazines. So these 4 guys was pretty much partying on Saturday night, and they'd get a little drunk and stuff. So I think one night they got to talking about different drivers and different deals. Then they got to naming people. Pearson was a Silver Fox, you know, and so they wound up with Richard. So I guess Kings kind of went with Richard. If my name had been Joe, I don't think it would have been Joe, King Joe. They'd have had to come up with something else.
Awesome. And Jenna, and then Bill.
Hey, Richard. You talked a lot about the camp and how that you think will be your legacy. With all of your accomplishments and all of your on-track success, what does it mean to you that you think the camp will be ultimately your family legacy?
Well, I look back and the good Lord put me in the right place at the right time with the right people around me. And Richard Petty's never done anything by himself. He's always had the family behind him. He's had fans behind him, sponsors, all the stuff to make it work. And so with that being said, that was the foundation for us to be able to go and do the camp. If Richard Petty or Petty Enterprises hadn't been there and had all the notoriety, then it would have been hard for us just as individuals to sit down and say, okay, we're going to start a camp, because we couldn't afford it ourselves. We had to have outside help. So it was one of the deals that once we sort of raised our hand and said, this is what we're going to do, then all the drivers got behind it. Everybody got behind NASCAR and all the fans and stuff, because it was something new and something different. And they knew it was helping kids. And again, our notoriety was through racing was what put us out there to be able to come up with a camp.
But why does that? Why do you hope that means more for your family name than all of your success?
Well, I think everybody wants to leave a legacy of some kind, and
You've done that.
and I think that, and I know for sure, Peyton, that racing over a period of time will go away. It'll be different. So I think the notoriety of being with the camp is going to last a lot longer than anything that I've accomplished in racing.
Thank you.
Bill, for just maybe one quick question. We got to wrap it up.
Yeah. You know, 75 years is a long time to do anything. Most people would want to sleep in on Sunday morning and not keep the travel schedule that you do. So what makes you still so passionate about this? What gets you up in the morning to come here instead of relaxing somewhere?
You know, I guess I look at talking about people when they retire and stuff, they sort of go away, okay? But I've always been interested in people, been interested in racing. So the racing brings me together with the people brings me together from that standpoint. And it's one of the deals where as long as I stay active, I'll be active, okay? And, you know, a lot of times I got a cabin down there on a creek or on a little lake, and people say, well, you need to, you know, just get on a rocking chair, rock in front, you know, go fishing and all that stuff. I said, that lasts for about 5 minutes. And then I say, okay, where's the next race? So, but I guess I grew up around racing, so like a farmer's son being a farmer. Okay, it was just an automatic deal. I never looked at going out of the racing circle, doing any other kind of business. I've been in a lot of businesses and stuff, but my main concern was always the race car, and it still is.
Well, with that, we're going to end the press conference. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Graham. We appreciate it. Y'all have a good day.
Absolutely. I'd like to thank my mom and dad for